Good morning. My name is Rachel Hugenberg, and I'm one of the reference librarians here. And I am the current host of the Life program. And this morning, we are extremely excited because here at Life, we are fans of the feline. So we have with us today the fantastic Regina Vitolo, who is one of our reference librarians, but she is also something of a cat aficionado expert and also a cat mom. I am also a cat mom, but Regina has actually done some studying up about cats and about how to be involved with the pet rescue and cat community. So Regina, if you would please go on ahead and get us started.
Hi, thank you, Rachel, for that fabulous introduction. Again, my name is Regina, and I am a librarian at Lone Star College Cyfair Library, and I am also a cat mom. So I live in a multi-cat household, and I do not want to say I don't want to be a self-proclaimed cat expert, because I feel like I'm still learning about cats and cat behavior and ways to make life great for my cats. I'm still learning something every day in my research and with the other people in the cat and animal community that I interact with. So Rachel, if you will go ahead and pull up the slides and we can get started. And while we're waiting for the slides to come up, if you have any cats, for those of you who are joining us today, you'll go ahead and type in the chat how many cats you have or how many cats you have had. If you like cats, we want to know even if you do not like cats, but we're just curious to know how many cat lovers and cat parents we have with us today. Okay, great. So we can go ahead and advance to the next slide. Again, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. And a little bit about me. I am a lifelong cat owner. So I have had cats in my life since I was a toddler. And I am a lifelong cat advocate. I've volunteered at multiple shelters, and I've undergone training as an adoption counselor through Friends for Life Animal Shelter in the Houston Heights area. And I am also the community cat manager of my neighborhood. And I am an avid trap, neuter, and return practitioner. So a little bit about the community cat manager. If you live in incorporated Harris County and you're familiar with the community cat manager program through BARC, that's something that you can apply for online. Now, in my neighborhood and part of town, since I'm in unincorporated Harris County, I'm kind of the self-proclaimed community cat manager of my neighborhood and area. And what does that mean? That means that I am active in the community as far as helping people catch and fix stray cats around their homes. And I often go door to door when I notice some new cats pop up around someone's house. So I am one of those people who patrols the neighborhood looking for hotbeds of cat activity. And I am the person that will go and knock on the door and ask the homeowners, hi, did you know that you have some kittens around your house, or you have a lot of cats coming in and out of the sewer, hanging around your street? I find out if these cats are owned, if they're strayed. I try to offer education on community cats and caring for cats and TNR to people and in my neighborhood and immediate community. And I also on Nextdoor, I post about TNR, and I'm always asking if anyone notices a cat issue around their home so that I can provide them with some education or some help with setting up a TNR sting. So so I've always been involved with cats, and I'd like to point out I am highly allergic to cats, and many cat owners find out at some point in their life that they are allergic to cats. And you may say, like, if you're so allergic to cats, how can you live with cats? Well, there are ways to manage cat allergies and other allergies. For instance, I take Zyrtec every night, and I do things to mitigate the transfer of cat allergens to. So, for example, I try not to touch my eyes or rub my eyes. I try not to touch my nose, and kissing my cats, I try not to rub my face on them when I give them a kiss before bed at night. So there are different things, different actions I take in order to live with and manage cat allergies. And there are several other options for those of you who are here today because you're thinking about adopting a cat, but you're not sure because of the allergies. There is a wealth of information online for how to live with cats happily and manage your cat allergies. And as you can see on the screen here, this is just a snapshot of my current Instagram feed, and which you can see a few or some of my cats. And these are indeed my fur children. So I do not view myself as an owner of them. I have a relationship with my cats, and I consider them family. All right, if you'll advance to the next slide. Okay, so as most of you already know, June is National Adopt a Cat Month, and it was established by the American Humane Society, I think like 45 years ago this year, so early 70s. And the American Humane Society established Adopt a Cat Month because they wanted to address the issue of thousands of newborn kittens that are born every year from stray cats and feral cats, and that are even from owned cats, that from owners who do not have the knowledge or education about why they should get their cats fixed if they're indoor outdoor cats. But they wanted to address the issue of thousands of kittens and cats being brought into shelters every year and not finding homes, and they end up being euthanized. So every year, the American Humane Society and other rescues like Alley Cat Allies or even local rescues, they have a push for cat adoption education and cat adoption specials during the month of June to raise awareness about the overpopulation of cats issue, and to encourage people to come to shelters and adopt cats that you find in shelters rather than cats that you may see sold or purchasing designer cats or going to cat breeders. The American Humane Society wants to inspire people to take care of the cats around them that are in their environment, but also to go to shelters. And if you can't adopt a cat, maybe you can volunteer and help cats that way, or you can help raise awareness with cat education and TNR education in your local community. Go ahead and advance to the next slide. So over the past 14 months, mainly in 2020, when we entered quarantine due to COVID-19, it had a dramatic impact on cat adoptions. And that was because more people were at home, quarantined, working from home, and a lot of people were lonely or thought, hey, this is a great time to bring in a furry loved one into our families, into our homes. So cat ownership, as well as dog ownership, increased in 2020, and some statistics show that 17% of cat owners acquired a cat without going through a shelter or rescue organization. So that means maybe they went to a pet store at a mall, or maybe they went to PetSmart and they adopted a cat that, and a lot of times I want to point out, at PetSmart, you do have independent cat rescues and local cat rescues showcasing their cats there. So you may be able to adopt a rescue cat or a shelter cat from a place like PetSmart. But yeah, so there was a high percentage of cats that were adopted during lockdown, but not all of them were adopted from shelters or from rescues. And we also saw an increase in people who applied to foster cats and also dogs. So that's just something to keep in mind as we go into Adopt a Cat Month. We had an increase in adoptions during lockdown because of COVID-19, and we want to make sure that the shelters don't end up full with cats that people have decided they can no longer care for because they are no longer at home all day with their fur child, and they're worried about their cat destroying their home. So part of the goal of this presentation is to give people ideas for catifying their home, so that even when they aren't home all day anymore because they've gone back to work or they're resuming their regular lives, their cats can still stay happy and entertained at home. Okay, if you'll advance to the next slide. So again, we kind of just discussed this. Why should you catify? If you see this photo here, we have a cat's head sticking out through a shredded couch, probably shredded from the cat's claws. But we want to catify, yes, to save our furniture, but also to keep cats happy. And we want to catify because you want to make sure that your home is cat friendly and cat safe, and that you are providing outlets for your cats, so that the appropriate outlets, so that they aren't destroying all of your stuff. And also you want to catify because you want to make sure that your cat is safe. So just like you would child-proof your home, you would also want to cat-proof your home for their safety and well-being. You can go ahead and advance. So let's talk a little bit about the term catification. I doubt this is the first time any of you have heard this word, but it's a noun, and it is defined as the art of creating an enriched space for both human and cat. So when I think of catification, yes, I've already submitted to the fact that my home is my cat's castle, but it's also my castle, and I want to design my space in a way that's both aesthetically pleasing to me, but also pleasing and comfortable for my cat. So the idea of catification is to create a living environment that for both you and your cat that is pleasing to both. So it's not just catering to your cat. You also want to make sure that you are happy with your catified space as well. Okay, you'll go ahead and advance. So the self-proclaimed expert Jackson Galaxy, most of you already know, has a wildly popular show on Animal Planet called My Cat from Hell. And it's important to point out, he is a self-proclaimed cat expert. But in his books, he does co-write his books with cat experts that do have certifications and what they're discussing. So that's something to keep in mind when you look at his books. It's often co-written with someone who is indeed an expert because they are certified in cat behavior. So Jackson Galaxy is also known as the Cat Daddy, and he is a huge proponent of the concept of catifying your home, catification. So designing your home in a way that that creates harmony between you and your cat and your house. You go ahead and advance to the next slide. So before we go into specific examples of catifying your home, it's important to think about making your home safe for your cat, especially if you are bringing home a cat for the first time because you are inspired to adopt a cat from a shelter after this presentation, or because you think the time is right and you have and you feel responsible enough and like you are set up to care for a cat. It's important to research all of the household items you have that your cat can be exposed to. And so you can find a fantastic list on the ASPCA's website, which I've linked to here, that has information about pet care and then common household items that may pose a danger or threat to your cat. And then they also offer alternatives. So an example of this is like switching to natural cleaners, such as using a spray bottle that is a mixture of 1/3 white vinegar, 2/3 water. That's something I use to disinfect around the house. A lot of people are not aware that bleach is toxic to cats. Other home cleaners that you may find are toxic to cats. And it does not even have to be directly consumed by the cats. It can just be the residue that they absorb through their skin and it enters their bloodstream and their system. So the same way you would research household items for a child, you should also do that for your cat, but also for yourself and your health. Another thing to take notice of in your home, if you have a cat and you like to open your window for some fresh air, you want to make sure that all of your window screens are in securely and that they are not posing an escape threat because they have a rip or a tear, or because they can be easily pushed out by your cat from the inside. And you also want to make sure that all the doors in your house, your front door, your back door, garage door, any door that leads to the outside, you want to make sure that you're always careful when you're going in and out and that the door is firmly latched shut behind you or when you come in the house, so that your cat can't just jiggle the door open with their paws. We've seen many cats do. One of the worst fears of cat owners who have strictly indoor cats is that their cat will find a way to open the door or dash out the door while you're leaving for work or going out for the weekend. So these are all things to make sure are safe and secure areas, your windows, your doors. And then also you want to keep in mind indoor plants. A lot of people like to keep indoor plants to help purify the air, or maybe you just love plants. It's important to make sure you've researched a plant. For example, one of the most common plants that people bring in, say for Easter, the Easter holiday, is a lily, and lilies are toxic to cats if ingested. So you don't want to bring in a bouquet of Easter lilies and set it out on a table in a home that has cats. So you also want to research anything with any essential oils or candles that you bring into your home, because many essential oils are toxic to cats, whether they are ingested or they are absorbed through the skin. And candles. Cats have an acute, sense of smell, and it's much stronger than humans. So if you are burning a candle, it may not just be that, the parabens in the candle, they're toxic to cats, but the smell could quite literally make your cat sick. It can inflame their eyes, it can inflame their sinuses. So if you feel like you have to have plants or you have to have some kind of essential oils or candles to help freshen up your space, just make sure you've researched that it is non-toxic to your pets and to you. Okay, go ahead and advance. So now we get to the how to catify your home and keep your cat happy section. And I want to point out that everything we talk about in the next batch of slides for catification, they can be applied to a home that you own. But sometimes if you're renting an apartment or a home, there are some catification options that you may have to check with your landlord first. So just keep that in mind. Okay, go ahead and advance. So vertical space. So if you have a cat or you have multiple cats already, this is something that you already know, that cats are territorial, and cats need to feel like they have their own space in order to feel confident and to feel good about themselves. So if you are in a multi-cat household, or say you're adopting a cat for the first time and you already have a dog, or you have kids, or you have all of your stuff around the house, if all of the space that's that's at your level, say the chairs, the couches, the bookshelves, if those are all claimed by people and your stuff already, cats are going to look for another area to claim. And if they can't find another area to claim, this is where we can run into some cat behavior issues, and your cat can even become depressed. So one of the best ways to make sure your cat is happy and that they have a perch, or they have territory they can call their own, is to expand upwards vertically. This is a great example you see here on the screen. It is from our local cat cafe, El Gato Coffee House. And if you ever go in to visit the adoptable cats, you are going to see a prime example of catification. You can see here from the ceiling, there's hanging catwalks. You can see there's multiple shelves for cats to jump and climb on. There's a hanging cat hideaway. And throughout the cafe, you'll notice that below in the seating areas and benches, there are holes for the cats to go in and out of. And the bookshelf you see in the background has holes in it for cats to jump up and climb up to the top and perch there if they'd like. So if you are looking for a prime example of catification in best use of vertical space, you may want to consider visiting El Gato and their adoptable kitties when you have a free weekend. Go ahead and advance. So here's another example of vertical space. And on the left, this may be, you may see this and think, okay, that's too much. I am not that cat person who is going to dedicate an entire wall to cat shelves and then like mount a cat tower in the top corner. Okay, so you may not be that cat person. If you are not that cat person, you can look to the right and you see this fantastic cat tree. Now, you may think, okay, that cat tree looks like it's really tall, takes up a lot of space, which cat trees do take up space, but something like this will run typically under $100, depending on where you purchase. But the amount of space that this takes up and that you dedicate, this space that you dedicate to in your home, you have to remember you are saving a piece of furniture or something else by providing your cat with an alternative like this cat tree. So is it worth the space that it's taking up? And as you can tell, its footprint, it's really not that big, but it takes up a lot of vertical space. So you have to think of the trade-off. If you're going to bring a cat into your home or you already have a cat, are you willing to dedicate the space to options like cat trees to distract them from using other pieces of furniture as their own cat tree? These are things to keep in mind. Now, when you look at the option again on the left, this is a DIY project, and you can find a lot of these projects on Pinterest if you search DIY catification. And you can also purchase cat shelves online if you search for cat shelves. But I want to point out that these DIY options are often more affordable. You can go to the hardware store, you can maybe talk to someone who's there at the hardware store, and you want to make sure if you buy shelf brackets and a shelf that you keep in mind that it has to hold the weight of your cat. So this is something to maybe ask the person at the hardware store, hey, or look at the packaging. Will this hold a cat that's 12 pounds plus? Many of us have some hefty cats. So if I'm going to build a DIY shelf, I want to make sure that my DIY cat shelf can hold a 20-pound cat. So these are all things to keep in mind if you do attempt one of these DIY projects like the cat shelf wall and the mounted cat tower. Okay, next slide. So something else that you want to make sure you have at home for your cats are things we call scent soakers and cat scratchers. So we just looked at the cat trees, and cat trees are great multi-purpose pieces of furniture for cats because cats can climb up and down, get some energy out, and they can also nap on them, and then they can also scratch, get their scratching out on those cat trees. But you also want to think about places where cats can lay and really leave their scent. So if you look here on the left, this is one of my my bookcases, and it's like an IKEA bookcase, and this is a cubbyhole that I have dedicated to my cats. So I have a scent soaker bed, and I call that the scent soaker bed because my cats love to rub their body on that bed and mark their territory. And of course, I have many of these throughout the house. But this is something that a couple of my cats feel safe using to take naps and hang out in because it has their scent all over it, and the material, it hangs on to that. So I've also put this in a location that is around my stuff and my scent. So you'll also notice if you are a cat owner, and if you are a soon-to-be cat owner, you will discover that cats love to be where your scent is as well. So if you are going on a vacation, or say you need to get your cat loaded into a cat carrier and you want them to feel safe, sometimes vets recommend throwing in one of your t-shirts with them, maybe one that's already been worn, or throwing in a blanket, a throw blanket that you use and that has your scent on it, because it's comforting to the cat. So that's something else to keep in mind. Your cats, they want to be able to soak their scent onto an item and claim it as their own, but they also want to be around your scent. So if you notice that your cats are always on your bed and you don't even have room to get into your bed, it's because, one, it's a comfortable place to be, but also your scent is all over it. So what is an option for keeping everyone happy? Perhaps putting one of these cat beds or scent soakers next to your bed, or putting a soft pillow on your nightstand or on a dresser near your bed. So your cat is happy. Your cat is around your scent, and they also have their own little perch and something they can put their scent on, and everyone's happy. If you look on the right, so we see this A-frame table, and you can see that a cat is sharpening its claws on the outside, and then one cat's laying on the inside of it. Now, in the past 5 years, options for cat furniture have like gone through the roof. You can go online and check out cat furniture on Pinterest, or go on chewy.com, and you can find end tables that are specifically created to be used, next to your sofa, so that your cat can lay close to the sofa, but have an alternative to scratching. So if you have a cat that loves to sharpen their claws on the corner of your couch, you have a couple of options. You can buy a specialty piece of furniture like this to give them a distraction or another option, and place it in front of, or to block the area that they like to sharpen their claws on your couch. Or you can go online and find couch corner protectors. And these are clear adhesive strips that you can put on your couch corners to prevent your cat from ripping up the corners. There's also double-sided tape that you can use to put on your couches or even counters to keep your cats from jumping up or from scratching your couch. Now, that being said, I am going to be 100% honest from experience. If you love cats and you're a cat owner, you should probably get used to the idea early on that that no piece of furniture is sacred. So your cats, they do not care about your velvet couch or your favorite pillows on your bed. It's all fair game to them. And as much as I've tried to catify furniture, couch corners, or pillows, the reality is that it's most likely going to be scratched up at some point, or a cat is going to claim it as their own. And I'm okay with that. And so that's something to keep in mind. If you are going to be, if it's going to be really hard for you to handle a cat clawing your couch at some point or claiming your favorite cushion, then you may need to think about maybe getting a dog, or maybe just getting over your being over upset about get over being upset about your cat messing a piece of furniture up. It is inhumane to have cats declawed, and hopefully it will be outlawed on a national level soon. But so if you are still really interested in adopting a cat, but you don't want to deal with destruction of your furniture, your other option is go to a shelter and ask if they have any cats that have been surrendered that are already declawed. Then that might be a good option for you to adopt a surrendered cat that has already been declawed, and you can give them a happy, healthy life in home. But again, you can buy specialty cat furniture like you see here on the screen for scratching and distract your cats, and you can give them plenty of options for sleeping and hiding and soaking their scent into, but just know that at some point you are going to deal with a cat scratch on your furniture or a snag here or cat hair on your favorite pillow. Okay, go ahead and advance. Okay, now this is one of the biggest topics that I see discussed in certain in cat community online groups and that I talk to people about is the litter box. Okay, as a rule of thumb, you are supposed to have at least one more litter box than the number of cats that you have. And this is not feasible for a lot of people, especially if you're living in a small home or an apartment, you have limited space. But that is the ideal is if you have one cat, you have 2 litter boxes. Okay, so to give them plenty of options to use the box. A lot of people do not realize that cats are meticulously clean. They do not want to use dirty boxes. So it's important to make sure the litter box is cleaned regularly, but that's where having an extra litter box comes in handy. Now here, you will see on the left-hand side, I have a picture of the cat bedroom, the room that is dedicated to my cats, and it is still under construction, but you can see that to the right, bottom corner, there is an open litter box. And then the big blue piece of furniture you see with the cat going in, that is that disguises 2 huge litter boxes. So a couple of things to keep in mind for your new cat or your cats that you already have. Cats may have different preferences for litter and litter texture. Some cats will only use clay litter. Some cats love to use paper litter. Some cats want to use pine litter. So it's important to try out different litter options for your cat and to monitor if this affects their breathing. If you find that they are not using their litter box, it may be because they do not like the texture or the smell of the litter, or it may be that they do not like the placement of the litter box. So if you live in a multi-cat household or you're going to adopt a cat or multiple cats, you may want to try a few different options. It's frowned upon by some cat experts to disguise your litter box. So something that I have found after experimenting for years is that I have some cats that could not care less about using a covered or enclosed litter box. There's a box, they'll use it. And I also have some cats that will only use a litter box that is completely wide open. So the cats that only use an open litter box do that because they are constantly watching their backs. They want to make sure they aren't going to be attacked by another cat or trapped in the litter box. My cats that like to use the enclosed or disguised litter boxes are the cats that would typically be the aggressors. So they really don't have any qualms about using an enclosed litter box because they feel like, you know, that they're safe. Something to keep in mind, if you have an enclosed litter box, cats like to have an entry and an exit. So not only for spaces that they like to lay and relax in, but that's something also to keep in mind with litter box furniture. Most litter box furniture only has one entry and exit point. So if you decide you want to make your own litter box furniture, think about making an entry and an exit option. Providing your cat with a way to escape quickly, and if they are scared of using an enclosed litter box. So Rachel, if you will go to the next slide. So here I'm really bragging about this piece of cat furniture because it's something that my husband and I designed for our cats, because we have multiple litter boxes throughout the house and we really wanted to transform their cat room into a space that that wasn't just a room for open litter boxes. So even though we have other litter box options throughout the house, this is their main base camp where they eat, where they have a cat tree, where they drink, and where they have multiple litter box options. So with this piece of cat furniture, we knew we wanted to have an entry and an exit, and we wanted to be able to open it from the top or open the cabinet doors from the front to clean the litter boxes and to change the litter. And so far, this litter box has been a hit with the cats. So I'm happy to say that the cats love using this enclosed litter box. And you can see to the left of it, there was another open litter box as an option. And we kept other open litter box options as well in other parts of the house. But we ended up taking away that open litter box on the left because the cats weren't using it anymore. They were okay with using that enclosed litter box option. So I felt like that was a huge win for us. So if you are looking for cat furniture online and you want something like this, I'd recommend going on Etsy, looking for litter box enclosures. You can order custom-made litter box enclosures, or you can even go onto chewy.com to find the litter box cabinets that look nice and sleek and contemporary, but they just have one entry. And if you have a single cat or two cats in your house and they get along great and they are okay with using enclosed litter boxes, then a litter box with one entry and exit is something that's going to work for you. Okay, go ahead and advance. Another litter box option that I have considered purchasing many times over the past few years, but I just haven't yet, is this this other disguise option, which is like a big plant to disguise your litter box. So again, there are pros and cons for disguising a litter box. Your cat doesn't want to feel like that it is an inconvenience for them to find their litter box. So you want to make sure your cat can find their litter box. It's easy to get to. There aren't obstacles to getting to it, and that they know where it is. So obviously cats can sniff out their litter boxes, but you have to think aesthetically, this litter box idea is it's pleasing and I like it, but it may not be something that your cat is comfortable with using. So you have to think, if you're willing to shell out the cash for something that is aesthetically pleasing to you, hoping that your cat will use it, you have to remember, if your cat doesn't like it, you're going to have to provide them with a new option. And then maybe this is something you can give away to a friend or sell on Craigslist. So remember these rules. If you're bringing a new cat in a home, or if you already have a cat at home, cats do not all like to use the same type of litter. They may not all like the same type of litter boxes, but they need alternatives to a litter box. They need multiple options for a litter box. So they don't just want to focus litter boxes in one area. You want to have them spread out. Okay, next slide. Okay. This is like, of course, everyone knows this already. If you have a cat, that you want to give your cat a room with a view, or at least a window with a view. So YouTube is great because they have thousands of videos for cats, and it's called Cat TV, and they're videos of nature, of birds, of squirrels, of fish in an aquarium. And these are really great enrichment videos for your cat. And they are good options if you don't have a window with the best view. But if you do have a window with a view, even if it's just of a busy street, your cat is going to really appreciate you giving them a way to hang out there, lay there, and take in that view. So if you'll go ahead and advance to the next slide. Okay, so here we see a two-tier window perch. And initially when I saw this, I thought, I don't know that I would trust that to hold my cats on the window. I read some reviews about this and they are all mostly positive, but this is another thing that you definitely want to research. If you were going to buy one of these suction cup window perches, instead of getting a cat tree and putting it in front of a window, you want to make sure it's going to hold the weight of your cat or both of your cats. But you can see this option is fancy. It has a cat scratcher built in on it too. Now that's something that I would think twice about, because if they're scratching on that, is it going to weaken or destabilize the structure and potentially cause a fall later? So window perches are really popular. You can find perches that mount onto the windowsill, and you can even create your own DIY window perch, and you can look up free plans for this on Pinterest. So you want to make sure your window perch is strategically placed, and you want to take note of where the sun hits in your house through a window throughout the day. And that will give you a good idea of where to place a cat tree that still has a view over the window, or your window perch. Where is the sun mostly hitting through your window throughout the day? So it's just things that you'll have to take take note of before bringing your new cat home, or if you already have cats and you're looking for ways to make them happy as you move back into your, work schedule and leaving the house more often. Okay, if you'll go ahead and advance the slide. Okay, so here's a picture of one of my cats, and this is an example of great placement for a window perch. Even though my cat is looking at me take this picture, he's usually looking outside. And outside of the window, you can see there's another cat. It's one of the community cats that we've fixed and that we feed, but there's also a garden. So there are tons of flowers and bees and birds and that come throughout the garden during the day. And this is their own natural cat TV. It provides them with enrichment and entertainment. And they have a way to lay down and sleep on the cat tree, to run up the cat tree and sharpen their claws, or to just window watch. So you want to make sure, again, that you have a cat tree, it's in a strategic area for by a window where the sun hits or where they have a great view, or if you have a cat perch, you'll want to make sure that it's reinforced and it can hold a hefty cat like my cat that you see right here, who weighs 17 pounds. All right, go ahead and advance. Okay, now we're here at the cozy hideaway, and I am going to ask y'all to hold one moment because my dog is growling at me and he wants to be put up on the couch. So I'm going to pause for one moment. Thank you for that. My dog, he is a senior dachshund, and we have ramps for him throughout the house, but this one particular couch, he does not have a ramp too, so just had to put him up there. Okay, so now back to cozy hideaways. On the left, you can see this fantastic designer hideaway, and I would love to have one of these. It's like, knitting needles and like a ball of yarn. But also on the right, you see a cat carrier, and you might be thinking, why is there a cat carrier? And that's because cats should be trained from an early age to look at their cat carrier as a place to go into and relax, not just as a stressful place for when they're going to the vet. And this will help you to familiarize your cat with the carrier and to feel safe in the carrier, so that when you do have to take the cat to the vet, it'll see the carrier as a place where it can relax, not just as a place to freak out on the way to the vet. So this carrier, you can see the door can be removed different ways, but I have a couple of cat carriers open in my home, in the cat's room, and it has a towel or a soft bedding in it, and the cats go in there to hide out all the time, and they love it. And so when I bring that carrier out or if I move that carrier because I need to take them to the vet, they go into that carrier that's out all the time, that they hang out in. Sometimes they go into it easily. So that's something to consider too. If you don't have room for multiple cozy hideaways in your house because you live in an apartment or you have limited space, but you have your cat carriers, that's another option. You can leave your cat carrier out, make sure they can't get trapped in with the door, and put some cat bedding down. And this will help create a sense of comfort when your cat sees the carrier and maybe doesn't know they're going to the vet yet. But if they're laying in it, you can go ahead and just shut it up, shut them in there, give them a treat, and take them to the vet. So it's good to associate good feelings and treats with their cat carrier, and by also making it a cozy hideaway. So if you'll advance to the next slide. Okay, now we looked at some fancy cozy hideaways, but you can see right here, cats and boxes. That is the natural go-to cozy hideaway. So sometimes as cat owners, we are frustrated because we go to the pet store or we order online this really cool, like I've ordered a banana bed and a pineapple bed, different soft beds that we think, oh, this will be the perfect little cat cave for my cat. And then you'll notice that the cat ends up loving the box that came in more than the actual cat bed. So if you're a cat owner, you've had this experience, and if you've ever walked into the home of a friend or your own home as a cat owner, you'll notice that there will be boxes strewn all over the floor, and you replace them as new boxes come into the house for deliveries because the cats love these boxes so much. So that is something that I always provide, even though I have the fancy, the cute cat beds that I like because they are aesthetically pleasing. I also have the boxes, cardboard boxes from their Chewy delivery or something from Amazon. I have them throughout the house because the cats love these boxes. Why do the cats love these boxes? Because cardboard is a great scent soaker, and it's also a great cat scratcher. And also, cats like to be compact and contained and cozy. So I'm sure you see here on the left, this is one of my outdoor colony cats. I can tell he's wishing that this box was maybe placed right side up and a little smaller so he could be cozy inside of it. Like my indoor cat on the right, she is in that tiny Amazon box and she loves it. And I still have that box, and it's moved in different places around the house. And I will keep that box until it bursts. So that's something else to keep in mind. A cost-effective way to have a cozy hideaway for your cat is to use a box, repurpose it. You can even cover it in fabric if you want to, but you don't have to spend a lot of money to provide them with a cozy hideaway. Okay, feel forward. Okay, so now we are getting into the pro tip portion of our presentation. You'll notice here, we have a couple of images of our work from home spaces where we have our cats on our laptops or on our desk. Now, you'll notice here on the right, my colleague Jane, she has her cat on the desk. And she's talking about yoga and desk yoga, and her cats often join her on the desk or in her videos because we have been working from home the past year. And so her cats, they like to perch up on the desk. They like to be around her where she's working, which is understandable. Our cats want to be around us and be included in what we're doing. So if you look on the left, this is not so ideal. I have stepped away from my laptop during a meeting to go grab a drink, most likely, and I've come back and my cat has plumped himself on the keyboard. Why? Because computers, laptops, they are warm. And cats also, I have to mention, love to sharpen their claws on your keyboards. So that's something to remember if you are adopting a cat or you're a first-time cat owner or you already have cats, you do not want to leave your laptop, your computer exposed to your cat. They will sharpen their claws and remove keys, and they will lay on your keyboard and send messages and open all kinds of files and things. So what can you do to prevent this? So say that maybe you're finished working from home and you've gone back to the office, or maybe you have a new job, or your job has said, you know what, you can work from home now. This is something that you can do, and you want to prepare for it. So you want to have a cat, you're going to be working from home, or you already have a cat, and you want to make sure something like what you see here does not happen during your work time. Well, what can you do? Go ahead and advance to the next slide. You can provide a worthy distraction for your cat. Now here in this picture, you can see that there is a cat curled up on what looks like a laptop, but it is indeed a cat scratcher laptop. It's a fake laptop, and it's made specifically for cats, and it was designed for this reason. If you go online, you can see thousands of stories of people sharing images and funny stories about their cats hijacking their laptops or computers. Well, lo and behold, we have designed the computer cat scratcher. It's a cardboard, imitation of a laptop, and it's something that you can place on your desk next to your laptop and hope that it entices your kitty there. Again, cats do like laptops because they are warm. So this laptop may not be warm, but it will still give them a distraction and entice them because there is some catnip and cat scratcher. You can't see the cat scratcher keyboard that the cat is laying on, but it's a good distraction. Now, I do not have it featured here in the slide, but another great distraction is a cat desk that came on the market, I don't know, a few years ago, that you can buy, and it has an elevated perch as part of the desk, part of the furniture, specifically for your cat. And you can go online and look up this cat perch desk, and there are tons of reviews and photos of people pleasantly surprised that their cat, who is now their supervisor, perched on this cat perch part of their desk, watching them do their work instead of laying on their work. So that might be something you're interested in purchasing for yourself, or maybe creating a DIY option. If you are handy and with tools, you may be able to create your own cat perch desk, or maybe you'll find a toy like this that'll work wonders for your work from home station. Okay, next slide. And if you have funny work from home stories like this and you're a cat or pet owner, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear about those. Okay, and our last pro tip, Catify your patio. So if you are lucky enough to live in a home that has like space for a patio and a yard, then this might be a great option for you as a cat parent. You can extend your patio space and screen it in so that it is also an outdoor environment for your cat. And needless to say, this will provide all day entertainment and fun and relaxation for your cat and indulge their hunter instincts. But you're also keeping them safe because they cannot escape the catio. They are confined to that space, but they still feel like they have some kind of freedom, and they have some outdoor time. So I want to point out that, and if Rachel, if you'll go to the next slide, in Austin, once a year, the Travis Audubon Society has a Catio tour. And what this is it's a tour of these outdoor DIY and designer cat enclosures, cat spaces. And the Audubon Society promotes this because their interest is in preserving the lives of birds, of course. So you can go onto the website for Travis Audubon, and this is from 2020, the screenshot, but you can see that when the next time they are going to have this tour of their catio spaces, cat enclosures. And I think the tickets are like $10. It's like a donation or a ticket. And you can get ideas for creating your own cat enclosure, but you can also meet local catio designers and maybe hire a professional to come and assess your space and tell you the best type of catio enclosure for you, and then get a quote or an estimate on building it. I also want to point out that you can go online and you can research different catio spaces and catio contractors online, and you can even purchase the plans to build your own catio. And the plans include the blueprint, a breakdown of all the tools you'll need, anything that you can think of, minus the materials. So that's something else you can keep in mind if you want a summer project or an outdoor project and you have the time and the money to do that. All right, next slide. So again, just to reiterate, why do we want to catify? We want to catify to make our cats confident and happy, to make them feel like they have a space of their own, so that they are happy. You also want to do it to save your furniture, and as you can see in this picture, to save your plants, and also to save your sanity. So an unhappy cat leads to an unhappy cat parent. So being at home the past year, working from home with my cat, has really made me think about ways I can maximize my space and provide my cats with more enrichment and entertainment and more space for them. So it's really important to remember that you are cohabitating with your cats, and that cats get bored too. Cats need to be provided with enrichment and with their own space. And you need to make sure that your home is cat proof, just like you would make sure that your home is child proof if you were bringing a child into your home. So again, why do we catify? And we do that not just to make our cats happy, but also to make you happy, and as a responsible pet parent. Okay, next slide. So some library resources we have are these books you can find in the catalog. Again, Jackson Galaxy, he has the most accessible books out there on cadifying your home. I would recommend checking these out from the library rather than purchasing, because a lot of the information you find in these books you can find online for free on different rescue websites, but also on Pinterest. And the book in the center, Think Like a Cat. This is a great book to read if you're bringing a cat into your home, and you want to find out more about cat behavior and how your cat reacts in their environment and responds to their environment, and find out about how to create spaces for them to relieve their primal nature in a safe way. And if you'll go to the next slide, we have some online resources here, and these are different links, websites you can check out, tips for first 30 days of cat adoption if you are new to adopting or adopting a cat. And then there are DIY catification projects you can also find online. If you have tried any of the DIY catification projects, or you have your own catification story to share, please email those to me or share in the comments. I'd love to hear or see any of the projects that you've already done for your cat. And then Rachel, if you'll advance again, I just want to remind everyone that we are now in our Tails and Tales summer reading program. So you can sign up at hcpl.beanstack.org to start your summer reading. And if you'll advance to the next slide. Also, I want to remind you that every Saturday in June, I will be hosting a Catterday story time and a crafting with adoptable kitties. And crafting with kitties will be featuring the adoptable kitties from El Gato Coffee House. So make sure that you either tune into those on YouTube or our social media channels. And then here is a list of all of our Adopt a Cat Month virtual programs. So I want to thank you all for joining us today for this really brief, quick overview of catification, and I hope it'll give you some ideas for making your cat happy, but also keeping yourself happy, and then give you some ideas for further research. Thank you. Okay, Rachel, you want to address the questions in chat?
We have a couple of chat questions, so I'm going to pull that up really quick.
Okay.
Some people are saying, stop calling me out. My cats do the same thing. Regina's cats have, in fact, contributed to more than one meeting. Shaheen says, great suggestion for the cat carrier. Jane is saying she has 3 cats, Alfie, Olive, and Penny. I will second that with I have Sue, Cleo, and Mimi. And actually, if you are looking for an adoptable cat, I would highly suggest Regina as an adoption coordinator, because we adopted our baby Mimi from her, and she's great. There was some excitement also of seeing your dog. And there was a question about, are there any safe mosquito control suggestions for cats while they are outside?
Okay.
And suggestions to purchase cat crates for 2.
Cat crates for 2. So first, I'll address the mosquito repellent. So yes, there are many, I guess you can call them home remedies or DIY concoctions to protect your cats from mosquitoes. And what I use on my outdoor cats, and I'll preface this by saying that when I spray my outdoor cats with this, they hate me for about 5 minutes, but they get over it really fast because then I give them treats. So there is a mixture of lemon juice and water that you can combine into a spray bottle, and you can, or if you have an outdoor cat that lets you rub it on them, that might be preferable. Some of my outdoor cats that are strays or fixed TNR cats, I can't do that. But basically the formula for this is like, if you get 6 large lemons and squeeze all the juice out, you bring that to a boil on the stove, and then you put it in a spray bottle, and you can dilute it with a little bit of water, and then you can spray your cats with that, or you can rub your cats with that, and it's safe to them, but mosquitoes hate citrus. And I've even used that as a repellent on myself. You can also use fractionated coconut oil. You can rub some of that on your cat's coat. Mosquitoes do not like coconut. So these are some of the safe, non-toxic products that you can use. And when we send a follow-up email tomorrow, Rachel, I can include links to some of those recipes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the cat carrier, the double cat carrier. Okay, so there are double cat strollers. I have a double cat stroller, and I can link to this in the follow-up email, but it's basically, it's 2 cat carriers, and so one's on top of the other, but it's also a stroller. So when I'm taking 2 cats to the vet, I put them into separate carriers, and I can push them together, and then the carriers come off. So that is the only like double cat carrier I have. Now you can buy larger sized cat carriers that are foldable, like fabric carriers that can fit 2 cats. Now, as far as large cat carriers, it's really like you're going to be looking in the dog section at PetSmart or on Amazon if you want to buy a large carrier to fit multiple cats.
Okay, those were both really good things to know. I will have to take that the bit about the lemon juice under advisement. Even though ours are indoors, sometimes the mosquito gets in, you know.
And I guess I feel like this is an important place to actually point out in the conversation that citronella is toxic to cats. So if you have citronella candles, of course, the DEET spray, any of that, it's toxic to cats. And it's also somewhat toxic to humans. It can absorb into our bloodstream. But remember that citronella is toxic to cats, so avoid that.
We have some surprised faces here. I did not know that. That is a very good thing to be aware of. Okay, so with that in mind, do we have any further questions for Regina? Okay, thank you so much for coming and cadifying life this week. We really appreciate it, and we hope that everyone takes the chance to cadify their own homes or patios, depending on what they need. So thank you so much, Regina, for sharing that with us. It's really good to have a cat education about, you know, how we should prep our homes for our pets so that everybody feels at home.
Right.
With that in mind, next week, I am going to be giving the presentation. Next week, I'm going to be our presenter, and I am actually talking about something that I do all the time, which is doodling, and how doodling affects the mind and what effects doodling can actually have on people. So do join us next week at noon here on Zoom at Life, and we will see you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.